Okay, let's see if I figured this out. Can you hear me? All right. Someone give me some feedback before I say anything. There's a number of housekeeping things I got to talk about. I guess I'll start talking. See me, I'm late. I tried to do this on the computer. It just wouldn't have me. And so I set up the phone, and now they do these things, these live YouTube videos. They encourage it to be vertical. That's how long it's been since I've done one. I always do horizontal. They don't like. Tom says there's feedback. Lisa says sound is good. You guys disagree with each other. Anyone else? Unless feedback meant you're giving me feedback that it's working. I'll take it as a yes. Okay, so it's just I'm a bit out of practice, so I'm catching back up. The other thing that's changed is Lena is too pregnant to be sitting next to me, which it doesn't mean that she's on the way to the hospital or anything like that, but just right at the end of the pregnancy and isn't feeling great. She does exist though. Before we start any conspiracies, she just couldn't make it for this talk. So, seeming I've taken a while to get started, I'm going to tell you exactly what we're doing here. I've even written it. Maybe you had time to look ahead and see 5 sort of key questions about the Olympics, and as many as you've got. When I said I'd be here with Lena, I said we'd do about 30 minutes. We'll see how we go. I'm not tired. I can talk all night, but let's see. We'll aim for about 30. And the idea is I'll tell you the things I've been seeing on the ground, the things that people have been asking, and at the end I want to talk a little bit about our new book, which is tied in with these Olympics. But also, the other reason I wanted to do this is I want to get back into YouTube, especially live stuff. So it's good to practice, and especially with a committed audience like you guys watching there at home. I saw a lot of you saying hello as I was setting up. Hello to you all. The other reason is some big news stations from around the world have been getting in touch, and they've been asking for my thoughts on the Olympics. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but a big one in the States wants to do a video this weekend. It may well not happen, but I figure it's good if I start talking about the Olympics as a local. So as we go, I'll be reading your questions. I've written the 5 questions below. I'm going to answer and ask myself, and hopefully make you feel like you are in the know as well when it comes to the Paris Olympics. All sound good? All these kind words for Lena. Everyone can hear well, and people are saying hello from all over the place. And some very familiar names there in the comments. Hello to you all. Let's go. Okay. What have I noticed the most about the upcoming Olympics? The most clear, the most tangible thing that I've seen is that there is an awful lot of renovation and repairs and infrastructure changes. And there's a podcast episode coming up about this. This is also tied into this Grand Paris, the Greater Paris plans, where they're building, what is it, 68 or something, 68 new metro stations outside of the periphery, joining the suburbs into Paris. It's tied into the Olympics too, but it's a bigger thing. It's not like they're fixing everything just for the 3 weeks of Olympics, but how we're noticing it an awful lot, especially where I live in the 12th arrondissement, is so many roads around where I live are being dug up, and bike lanes being put in, roads being pedestrianized. I'm talking about small streets or where cars have been parked on the streets for decades are now getting turned into flower beds. The bike lanes are all over the place. I mean, even this has been going on for years, but it's so striking to see pictures of Rue de Rivoli going down towards the Champs-Elysees that used to be a super highway of one direction traffic, 4 or maybe 5 lanes, and now it's only 1 lane of traffic for taxis, and I'm not even sure the buses go there. Well, maybe they do, but it's like bicycles. 2-way bicycle heaven. If you're into bicycles, that's the place for you. Bigger changes than that even that we've seen in recent years. The Berge du Seine, down by the Seine itself, was another highway that's now pedestrian. It's flooding right now if you've been checking out my social media. But more tangibly, this past couple months, it feels like one in cool, an Olympic volunteer, right, has joined in. We'll have questions for you too, Rebecca. But it feels to me that the city is making a big effort to do a mega spring cleaning job so that when the city is in the spotlight in July and August, it's going to be ready for it. And as a resident, as a local, I'm really happy about it because firstly, whenever they pedestrianize a street, it for someone like me who walks an awful lot, I love it. I just think the city is better. For people watching at home now, presumably Paris lovers and visitors, regular visitors, maybe future visitors, tourists, it'll be better for you as well. The people who'll be the most upset about it are the motorists who live in the suburbs. But even for those guys, the metro is going to be better. The bike lanes are going to make it so much easier to come into the city. So it's really greening up and it's extremely noticeable. Also, I don't know how they've done it, but they haven't been extraordinarily disruptive with it. All these roads that are just getting jackhammered up, they must have found the perfect, or maybe it's because we don't have a baby that's sleeping in the day anymore, but I don't even notice. I see it everywhere. Also, buildings, so many of the buildings have got scaffolding on it, and it all feels like it's coming off. It's this really exciting time in Paris. If you know the Ile Saint Louis, there's a church on I don't know, towards the eastern end of it. Can't remember the name of the church. Maybe someone who's watching at home can type it. But that's been scaffolded up for years, years and years. Like at least three. Maybe some people have been visiting for longer than that can tell me exactly how long. But it's fresh and beautiful. It's like when a snake sheds its skin and looks pristine. That's what the city is starting to look like. Not to mention Notre Dame. The scaffolding is coming down before our very eyes. So that's the big thing that I've noticed. And before I get on to question two, I wonder if I can open up your comments on my laptop. Yes, I can. Now this is something. Rebecca Di Pasquale. I've actually been selected as a volunteer for the Paralympics and we'll be coming in from Toronto for a couple of weeks in August to September. Very excited. Okay, Rebecca, that'll be cool. Maybe we'll talk to you. There's a Paralympian I might be talking to as well. Also, there's a couple other volunteers for the Olympics who've gotten in touch, and a guy that I want to have on, without spoiling the episode, a very different sporty kind of episode that I've got coming up is a guy that's volunteering for his own sport, which is new at the Olympics this year. That's going to be an episode I think I record in the next couple of days. And Jody chips in Église Ile Saint Louis. It's so easy. It's the name of the island and the name of the church. It's been open to visit this whole time, but now it's open to see. Another question. Maybe between all these 5 questions, I can answer your questions. And I see one there from Andrew Murphy. Will anyone other than Kylie be swimming in the Seine? The athletes will. I think it's I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's the 10K swimming event. I felt like it was the triathlon at first was included in the Seine, but we wrote something about this the other day, and it's a certain event where they jump off like a launch pad near the launch pad isn't the right word, but they jump off a pontoon near the Pont Alexandre III, near the Eiffel Tower. And you will have certainly seen on social media lately that the Seine has been flooding, which sounds dramatic, and it looks dramatic, but it happens fairly regularly, maybe once every 1 or 2 years. And people are thinking, when it floods, all the mud washes up from the bottom, all the, driftwood comes down, and people seem to be panicking or scoffing that the Olympians won't be able to swim in there. But on the, conversely, remember during COVID, the Seine was so still you could almost see to the bottom of it. So, just because it's flooding now doesn't mean it'll be flooding during the Olympics. I'll talk a bit more about what I'm excited about, but these kind of things I am excited about. And Kylie, of course, is the crocodile from Kylie the Crocodile, our first book. I put in an Instagram post yesterday that the floods will hopefully wash away the crocodiles. And I forget sometimes that there are a lot of new followers to the Eiffel Tower who have no idea about my crocodile story or my crocodile book. And they probably think that there are actually crocodiles swimming around in there. And I feel a little guilty that I said it, but I know that the original listeners and followers know exactly what I'm talking about. Question 2, how are people reacting to the upcoming Olympics. When I say people, obviously I mean people in my circles, people who I talk to or interview or friends. Can't speak for everyone, but I'm talking about Parisians here and how they're reacting is a mix of two things. I put everyone in these two camps: the stay or go. A lot of people can smell the money of renting out their apartment on Airbnb or illegally or whatever, and they're hightailing it for the countryside. They don't say that they smell the money. They say, I don't want to be in the city when all the 10 million people come here. But I suspect that it's got a lot to do with the fact that you can rent out your own apartment for about 2,000 euros a night. So I don't blame them. It's pretty smart, I guess. But then there's other people in the camp that I'm in, which is stay. I'm fascinated to see what will happen. I make a life, a living, and a career out of sharing Paris at its best. And I think that's exactly what we're gonna see for these Olympics. So I'm thrilled to see what happens. I think some people who are like me, they wanting to get tickets to the games, they want to be part of it. Maybe they're volunteering, like some of you guys perhaps are. Uh, but also the other big topic, especially among some of my sport interested friends, is tickets. The tickets thing. If you're There's a friend of mine who's really super, like, she's super prepared with everything, and she researched. She's not even into sports. She researched all the sports which make the best events, and when the first chance came along, she bought tickets to everything she wanted, and they were cheap, and she was smart. And I guess I'm one of these people who figure things will sell out quickly, and I'll take what's left. And that's a terrible approach, isn't it? Because all the good stuff sold out. And I was saying in a interview with the ABC in Australia that the thing I want to see more than anything is the gold medal basketball match. And they're doing this. This is a real point of contention for people like me and some of my friends. The only tickets you can get left to some of these big games are what do they call them? They It's called something like the hospitality package, or it's something really similar to that. And what they do is you get the ticket, but you also get a hotel room, and you also get access to a sport lounge, which is in some kind of hotel particulier or whatever. And for me, for example, for the basketball game, I don't care to I don't need a hotel room. I definitely don't care to see inside some hotel particulier where they put some, like an aristocratic mansion where they probably put some, they promise you sandwiches and Coca-Cola. And the cheapest ticket for the basketball is 2,500 euros, which is, to put that in perspective, like the minimum wage in Paris or France is 1,500 euros a month. So that's one ticket is 2,500. So you just look at me and my friends looked and said, well, it's not doable, is it? Though I know the people who booked at the very beginning, and these are the conversations a lot of people are having. Have you got tickets to the beach volleyball? No. Do you know how to get one? Those kind of conversations are what a lot of people have been talking about, and perhaps more relatable, because that's just the sports interested people. Everyone has been talking about this confusion. There's a confusion going on. We know some parts of the city will be closed, but we're not exactly sure what. I know certainly some shops, popular shops and cafes and stuff, are going to close, which as a local, I don't understand it. I think as a business, I think they've got an opportunity, but maybe that's not the way they see it. But like, there's this confusion. The metro is apparently going to be more expensive, but is it for the people who use it every day? Surely not. Surely it's just a thing for the Olympics. So there's these kind of conversations going on a lot. There's talk of a friend of mine that runs bike tours in the city said they weren't sure that they'd be able to take their 15 cycling uh, customers to different districts. So they're worried they won't be able to do the tours as they usually do. So they're thinking just not to run the tours for the duration of the Olympics. A bookshop, uh, a person who works in a popular bookshop, I'm not going to name any names, said that they plan to close for the Olympics because they don't think the tourists coming for the games are going to be doing anything besides watching the games and going back to the hotel. And I Personally, I hope that's not true because, we've got books that we want to sell, but also I just can't conceive that people won't be out buying souvenirs and, drinking coffees and all this kind of stuff. So there's this confusion. And me telling you there's a confusion doesn't really iron it out at all, does it? But that's the sort of the vibe on the street. Also, very unusually for me on a live video, I've taken notes. Very, very rare that I've got notes, but look, I'm taking things seriously. Now, that's question 2. I'm going to look at some of the questions from you before I get on to question 3, and there have been lots coming in. Press Maxon says he felt he saw something about diving in the Seine. Yeah, I saw something about that too. Also, the other thing is they're changing things. Back to basketball, the sport I know the most about, they were meant to be playing all the games in Paris, but fairly last minute they announced that they'd be playing all the games except the bronze and the gold in Lille, a town to the north of France. And there was a big stink. Like, some of the athletes coming for the game, some of the most famous athletes in the world are the basketball players, and they're not even going to be in Paris. And instead, I think it's badminton. I ate something stuck in my throat. I don't know. So things are changing all the time. I think we really don't know. Diving, yeah, maybe. No, but I know something I haven't planned to talk about. But diving in the Seine would be brilliant. So would this beach volleyball by the Eiffel Tower, archery near the Invalides, fencing in the Grand Palais. These venues are just exceptional. Lynn Sakai wants to know if I have any press media privileges. Not that I know of. I think with these kind of things, this is probably my approach to life, though. Maybe it's not great, but I know how many newspapers and uh, websites and whatever from the whole entire world want these spaces. There's not going to be there's just not going to be space. And since the beginning of the Eiffel Tower, I always have to fight to get my foot in any door, and some battles I just haven't felt are worth fighting. But I'm happy to be the reporter on the ground. That's the other thing. I'm not even really a reporter, just a podcaster. But I'll be on the ground, showing you guys what's going on. Lisa W, we'd planned to return to France this year. We changed our minds to come next year instead. Those rental prices justify our decision. Yeah, that's I'll bring that up again in point 3. Pink Cadillac, hello to you too. Jackie Williams Jones, I'll be in Paris for 2 days, September 14th. Hoping to see the best of everything without all the extra people. I'll get back to that too. Good timing, good thinking. Rod is hoping to see some events for free, marathon, triathlon, bingo, and the cycling. We'll be going through some of the cool streets too. Today that was the marathon in Paris, and it was, I would wager there's people watching who think marathon boring, and I've probably thought that before, but I was fascinated by it today, not just because of how impressive everybody is to run 42 kilometers, but the setting is inspirational too. I saw people running past Bastille, along the Viaduc des Arts, along the Seine, through the Marais, and it was just so beautiful. And that's something I'm looking forward to so much. And those free viewings will be excellent. Interesting that the games aren't actually going to be in Paris, says Pink Cadillac, and there will be more that aren't in Paris. There's a bunch of things all around the country, and even like the surfing will be outside of mainland France. It'll be in Tahiti, French islands, the Dom-Toms. Are there any plan Bs for the games held outside? I doubt it. You now have an award-winning podcast. Maybe that could hold some sway, says Lisa. It wouldn't. Maybe I have might, but no, I'll do it my way. I've always done it my way, and it's been working so far. Patty Carlin, we'll be in the Marais during the Olympics. Are you planning to keep up the tours? Yeah. Here's another thing. We all kind of expected, everyone that has any sort of business revolving around tourists, we all kind of had an expectation that everything might just be booked out for the whole Olympic period, but most people I've talked to haven't seen that. I certainly haven't seen any influx of bookings over the Olympic period. So I imagine a lot of people will book things day before, day of. That happened last summer too. The amount of times people emailed and said, hey, want to go around the Marais tomorrow with 11 people. Can you do it? It happens all the time. So we plan to be there. I plan to be doing some, and certainly plan to have some of my team doing some as well. So yeah, not just the Marais, Montmartre as well, maybe even more. All right. The next question I wrote was, should visitors come? And then before or after, I wrote, if you got tickets for the games, it's a no-brainer. Of course you come and book. If you haven't booked already, book right now. Hope you already figured that one out. But I think the main question here is, should I come before or after? Someone was texting me just today if they should come in May or if they think it's going to be too hectic. Who am I to answer, really? But my advice would be, Paris is never going to look prettier than right before these games, and probably never going to operate as smoothly as right before these games, and probably right after. Although who knows, maybe 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 the influx of people will break everything and be worse after. But everything should be so finely polished before this influx of people that it couldn't be a better time to visit, except of course the hiked prices. But afterwards, I can't imagine it'll be that much worse. So the person who asked me today about May, I said, definitely come. You should definitely come. I think the city will be really looking its best. My notes here, that's exactly it. I think it'll never look better. I think it finishes early August. The city will be nice and empty in August typically. That'd be the perfect time to visit the city. September also really good. October, just as it starts getting cold. Why not? Questions from you, Pink Cadillac. Where will the equestrian events be? That's my favorite. They'll be in Versailles, the Gardens of Versailles. So a lot of these things, they say the equestrian will be in the Gardens of Versailles, or the volleyball will be next to the Eiffel Tower, and it's hard to imagine, because sometimes they haven't built exactly that yet, because so many people are around. Well, we haven't seen inside the Grand Palais as it's been renovated for so long. So we don't really know what that even means. They say in the Gardens of Versailles. It's easy to picture those really perfectly manicured gardens, but surely it'll be down where the canal is or beyond. I mean, Versailles, the Gardens of Versailles are enormous. Who knows? Jeff, when is the influx of visitors expected to begin? I don't know. I don't have the official numbers on that one, but it would seem weird to me that people would come more than a week early for an event that's on the first day of the Olympics. People typically only come to Paris for a week or 10 days max. So I can't imagine that people are going to say, oh, I've got tickets for July 25th. I better get there in June, So Sandy Shepherd, we have our tickets. What do you got? What do you got, Sandy? That's the other thing. A lot of people just bought tickets to anything. They're like, I'll get two to. I'm hoping that people overbook the tickets and realize, well, I can't be bothered going to the athletics today or the equestrian. I'll give them away or I'll sell them. And if those people are watching, you contact me first, please. But I think that's going to be a really big part of it. I think people booked more than they needed, which that's just the way it goes, isn't it? It's funny. It says when you're booking the tickets, it said on the site that it says it's against the French law to sell your tickets to anybody else. But I guarantee you, everyone will be doing that. Rebecca says her volunteer assignment is in the Grand Palais. Whoa, okay. Sandy says she had to buy sets of 3 tickets. We have men's volleyball, men's trampoline, and something else that I forget, which gave us the ability to purchase what we wanted, which was the finals in rowing. There you go. So people bought sets of 3 as well. Patty's also hoping to benefit from the extra tickets. Cool. And Sandy says she rows in San Francisco. Awesome. So should we see the finals? I imagine is the rowing in the Seine? No, maybe not. All right. On to a positive note. What am I excited about? I sort of touched on this before. I know I lived in Sydney during the 2000 games, and there was such a wonderful atmosphere. Everyone, I think at the end of it, they called it the friendly games, whatever that means. But because games can't be friendly, but people can, but there was just I remember just this feeling of Australians are pretty friendly in general, but people wanting to help out and being hosts on their best behavior kind of vibe. And I wonder maybe that's what happens in all the Olympics. But the idea of Parisians and the city playing host and putting on a good show, like the epic 3-week French dinner party, I think it'll be wonderful. I think it'll also be wonderful the the games with these backdrops. Like I can just picture on TV. I don't watch cycling really, but the cycling going up Rue Les Pics in Montmartre and having people lining the streets and cheering up that hill all the way through Montmartre. Like these kind of things would just be fantastic. The Eiffel Tower shots. My having Paris on the map like this is my dream, isn't it? This is my job. I do it for a living, and to see everyone watching, I feel like I kind of feel proud about it. I think it'll be a really lovely thing. I'm also looking forward to just being here. I'm looking forward to going out, hopefully catching some games, any games, seeing the visitors coming, seeing Paris get put on the map, and seeing what comes from it. What's the legacy that comes from hosting the Olympics? Will it be a success? I hope so. Will it be something we talk about for the rest of our lives? Maybe. I don't know. I have real positive feelings about it. I can't wait. So that's what I'm excited about. Before I get on to the last question, Amy was in Atlanta, living in Atlanta during the 96 game. Was it friendly? Tell me about the vibe. The rowing is at the Vers-sur-Marne Nautical Stadium. Canada was abuzz during the Vancouver games, and coffee pot conversations, beach volleyball, rugby sevens, and basketball, an event for each member of my family. You got basketball tickets. I can't wait to see Paris again without all the construction ongoing. She will be gorgeous again, says Amy, and Notre Dame will be almost ready too. Now, what am I not looking forward to? I talked about this with my wife before we pressed record. By the way, my brother made that for me right at the beginning. And he said, merch? And I said, I don't know. And it's out of my cupboard. Let's see. Shy girl. Joining a bit late, perhaps already discussed, but is anything happening now in preparation for the Olympics that'll be obvious when visiting next week? Anything closed or causing issues? No, just lots of roadworks. Jackie Jones lives in LA, was here during the 84 Olympics, the only one that made money that helps to fund non-profit sports programs for kids. And was it happy? Were people nice, Jackie? The question, what are we not excited about? I'm not excited if everything gets really expensive. I think that would be unfortunate, kind of unfair for the people who chose to stay in the town that they live in, like me. I can't see it happening, but if lunch becomes €50 minimum per person, it feels like it's hitting us where we don't want to be hit as locals. Like I get everything will be more expensive, but hopefully not in a way that ruins us all. The other thing is busy. 10 million, that's what they predict. 10 million people coming to Paris. It could be mayhem. I was in the Marais yesterday. It was the first really nice day of the year. And so remember, I do walking tours of the Marais, and I was thinking, I do them always starting at 9:30 when I lead a tour. Incidentally, I'm doing one tomorrow if anyone wants information. And starting at 9:30, no one's really out and about. Some of the shops are closed. All the places are empty, and it's lovely. And then I was there at about midday or 1 in the afternoon on this first beautiful day of the year, and it was mayhem. I avoid it when it's like that, but weekend, mayhem. We're walking around with a stroller, and I was just thinking, if it's mayhem like this now, what's it going to be like in the Olympics? I'm not super thrilled about that if it's going to be like that. Now, I'm glad that I live in the 12th, which is really spacious, huge sidewalks, and few people, not very touristy. But I can imagine areas like the 7th arrondissement and the Marais will be wild. So that's something I'm not really looking forward to. Now I'm going to answer a few more of your questions. I'm here in the comment section. If you've got questions, this is the time to do it. And then I want to talk a little bit about the book that we're doing. and then it's already been 30 minutes. Then I'm going to let you all continue. But get your questions in now. I'm going to go read through them. It was great fun to be in LA. Everyone was friendly, and I actually ran into some athletes, says Jackie Williams-Jones. Cool. Could you set up a pop-up to sell your new book, says Lynn. I guess not, but it would sell like pancakes or croissants. You know what my dream would be? Me and Lena talked about this today. Hopefully we can make it happen. Would be to rent out one of the Bookinist stalls and sell our books there for a launch party or something. And then we discussed it. We're like, there's no way they'd ever let us do it. I can just predict it, even through the contacts I have there. And then we said, why don't we just set one up illegally and see if we can get away with it? And I can just imagine that's starting all kinds of problems. So no, I don't think we'll do that. But hopefully with bookshops and stuff, the book will sell, because that's always nice when it comes to books. Do I think price hikes will remain after the games are finished? Wonders Coffee Pot Conversations. I say, maybe. I think if people realize they can get away with little price raises for a cup of coffee or something, then they might keep them around. But things like hotel prices, it's just they're going too high. They just can't stay like that. I think a 3-year-old's just come out of bed. Hey, little fella. Hey. You okay? Wait. Mommy's coming. Okay, hang on. Oh, you can sit here. Like that. No, do you want to go to mommy? 2 seconds. Okay, you sit with me. Like that? Do you want to say hello to the people? Yeah. Okay, say hello. All right. Hello, people. Have me crying. Okay, there's little Otis. Yeah, but hang on. You know what? I'm just going to finish something really quickly, and then I'll come. Okay? Okay. This is, you can, by the way, you can hear, I did an episode recently about him switching languages. He's just speaking English to me and then Swedish to his mum. Look, I'm just going to finish something, and I'll come, okay? Yeah, give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please. No. All right. This could be. Yeah, you think for 2 minutes and I'll wind things up. Yeah. There you go. All right. Sit with me here. Sit here like this. All right, guys. All right, let's finish this off. Say hello, people. Hello, people. Say bonjour. Bonjour. Say ça va. Ça va. There you go. All right, let's finish this off with a quick chat about the book. Look, now Otis came and Lena didn't. The book, Paris Animal Games, I've linked to it below. It is about the Olympics. Mama. Yeah. You know what this reminds me of a little bit? It reminds me of that BBC interview where the guy's kid runs in the back and the mum tries to grab. Here we go. Professionalism. Here we go. The book, Paris Animal Games. We've got the Kickstarters running for, what is it, like another 35 hours or something like that. And you might be thinking a couple of things. You might be thinking, I don't need to support a Kickstarter that's already reached its target. And to that, I would say, yeah. To that, I'd say this is the last 1 minute of this conversation, I think, guys. Trying to remember where I was at. Yes, the Kickstarter. The more it grows, the more books we can print, essentially. This will be the cheapest chance to get it. And I added a thing. If you're in a generous mood, I've added a thing there where you can donate a bunch of the books, a box full of the books to a local school in Paris. And the idea is that you can get it at wholesale price, so cheaper than a bookshop or a museum would buy them off us. We'll cover the postage and we'll donate them to schools. Donate them from you to the schools. So, The reason, there's a couple of reasons that I've done that as well, is because if it sounds counterintuitive, but the more books that we print, the cheaper it is for the books to be printed. So that's in our interest as well. Otherwise, get one from the Kickstarter. This is kind of the one big kapow that we do with the books. And then after this, it's not like we're going to be promoting them an awful lot. And we'll try and mostly be selling them to the to the bookshops around Paris. Anyway, it's too complicated doing this with a 3-year-old on my lap. So I'm going to say thank you to everybody for watching, and I'm going to sign off. And the next one I do will not be from home. I think it will be from out on the streets as usual. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thanks for your questions. The link to the books are below. Lisa W. already ordered 5 for the grandkids. There you go. Thank you so much. You can order books and give them away to other children. That's the beauty of it. Speaking of children, I'm going to take care of mine, and I'll talk to you all later. Good luck for everybody with the Olympics if you're here, and otherwise, good luck in watching them. New episode coming out tomorrow morning. As always, I'm Oliver G with Otis G, the sidekick. Otis, say au revoir.
Au revoir.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, door. There it is. Talk soon.